Hey Keepers, what do you say? What do you know? This is the Keeper coming right at you from the cave, man. From the cave. Gotta have it be the cave. I'm a slave to the cave, you know what I mean? Hey, today's video is called Keyboard Choreography. And let me explain that. Well, I'm an old fart. I've been around forever, and I've been playing music forever. I'm 66, and I've been playing in bands since I was 12 years old. And just not rinky-dink bands. When I was 12, I was playing with people 10 years older than me. I come from a musical family, and I grew up playing early, 6 years old. But enough of that crap. You know, we all know how to play our instruments. But my point is, I grew up old school. And so I admit that I have a Keith Emerson, Rick Wakeman problem. I love playing a lot of keyboards, but I grew up playing a lot of keyboards. I think 1972, my keyboard rig was a four-piece organ. All right, that was a VIP 345, played with a Leslie. Then I had a Fender Rhodes suitcase model. All right. Then on top of the Fender Rhodes, I set up on top of the Rhodes, I had a Moog satellite synthesizer. Then on top of the four-piece, I had a Alka string machine. So even at 15 years old, I was playing 4 keyboards. Okay. Which I'm getting to the point I want to make here. I like listening to a lot of different type of music. I like Daryl Hall and John Oates, and I like because they kind of got a unique sound. But I've been watching a lot of videos with them, and their keyboard player is so lame. He's just totally lame. It just pisses me off. You're a keyboard player. You need to remember the neighborhood, and what I mean by that is your fellow keyboard players, man. As a keyboard player, when I go out there, I'm representing all us guys, all right? So the impact I make reflects on everybody, because that's how they're going to look at keyboard players. I'm not a B-line player. I've always been an A-line player. I play in the front line. I sing, I play, and I put on a show. Now, if you got a 61-note keyboard, and that's all you're going to use, and you have 50,000 parts to play, you're not going to impress anybody. Especially an act like Hall & Oates where there's 50,000 keyboard parts being played. And you're going to show up with a Nord 6D and try to play all the parts. Then look lame doing it. And also, I think the guy plays rather lame. And then he has this little trick, he's using the organ in the keyboard. And so he has a foot switch hooked up to his Leslie. And he puts it on top of the keyboard. So when he he makes a big deal when he presses the switch. He'll go, "Oh, look what I'm doing. I'm pushing a switch. Oh, mommy." No, that's not, that's copping out. And I'm sorry, but, you guys out there just playing one keyboard. Now, I can see if you're just playing in a band, all you're playing is piano, or all you're playing an organ. That's cool. But when you're playing in an act that requires you to do a lot more, you need to do a lot more. A lot of people today are even playing. They got buttons. They sample parts on the buttons, and they hit buttons to play. That's not playing. That's a part of the crap that's going on in today's music. There's no skill. There's no craftsmanship, no musicianship. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's none of that going on. I'll give you a good example, all right? Okay, I play in a band that kind of plays a little bit of everything. All right? So, let's look at it. Let me pull up a program here. And... Okay, we'll take a song like Vehicle. All right? It's got horns in it. It's got organ in it. It's got a little bit of everything. All right, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Keyboard choreography. You're going to plan everything out. So you got a piano part. that organ. All right. So then you have the you got. All right. So the song starts off 1, 2. Different parts going on. I'm having a little bit of problems playing the parts right now because this is not my normal keyboard stand. The other stand I use live, it's out in the garage, and I set up another stand when you have this one at home. All right, another good example, maybe the letter. And now you got a couple things where you can do it like. But I have a choice. I normally don't use this particular choice, but I have it up here for to show you guys an option. So, So you can have an extra horn thing going on here if you want. Normally I just use this program. Where I have another one that's a percussion. Different options, but another thing, like the letter, it's like go crazy. And I'm doing all this shit, and I'm not even warmed up. I haven't even limbered up or nothing. But it's just setting everything up. So you got, give me a ticket for an airplane. Ain't got time to take no. So you got the verse, so you can play the piano. You got left hand organ. And then do left piano brass part. I'm just doing. Oh, I'm doing. Because you got. Go up and down here. The other program I like to use, you could be doing Alright, so instead of you using the organ here, you could the second time around you can maybe bunch of stuff you could do all this planning, and now I pull this off live. You know what I mean? So there's more pressure on me, and I you know what? I don't know if you guys have this problem, but you know I might do a riff or something, and the keyboard buddy will go, "Hey, what was that?" And it's a riff that you don't think at all playing. It's just natural. Like it's a diminished riff. We'll see if I'm thinking of it now, but I'll see. It's a riff, but sometimes when I go to show what I'm playing, when I start to think about it, I can't play it. It's amazing the stuff that naturally flows out of you, but when you think about it, it's like what the hell am I doing? It's like wow, can't do it. You can't pull it off, or a riff that you do pretty fast and you try to slow it up so someone can see what you're doing. I can't do it because now I'm thinking about it, and it's like, oh man, the pressure's on. I can't handle it. But you know what? I know it's gonna piss some of you guys off, but hey, I've been around long enough, and I've been through the ups and downs of music. I feel I kind of have a right to express my opinion, and I think we're going the other way. We spend a lifetime learning how to play our instruments and everything, but when you're just going up there and just being a wimp and playing one keyboard and not even putting any effort into it, just playing the bare minimum to get by, that's not playing, man. I get a lot of credit for having a cool left hand. I could play leads with my left hand, but that's stuff I practice doing. But the fun thing of it is the challenge of it, where maybe good example, like when I first learned the letter. All right, so normally, let me drop the volume on this a little bit. So, all the lonely things are gone. I'm coming home. My baby's wrote me a letter. Now, what I used to do. And then I was thinking, well, what if I had changed the top part to maybe, instead of doing this, do this. Plus, you got your bass player hitting this part. Do that. See, now I'm thinking of it. See, I'm thinking now I'm messing up. And what I do on this, what I do now, I pushed it a little bit more. Now I go. Switch it up more, but now you're working your left hand out more, and you're adding a little bit more to it. Then we're the bridge. Now I do. So I'm adding more, and what I want to do is I want to work this out, whereas something now I got to push myself. I'm going to learn that where I can play it within speed. You know what I mean? But that's the point I'm trying to get is push yourself. If you're sequencing, don't write something you're comfortable playing. Write something a little bit out of your ability or range. All right. So if you play something you already know, you're not really learning anything. But if you play something that requires something that you're gonna have to sit down and work out, then now you're learning. Then you're getting a better. You're making your hands do more, and you're working in your dexterity. And that's my point. Is that's the fun part of music is the challenge. And I'll tell you one other thing too. All right, got to have hit a coffee. And I'm going to have some nicotine here because I'm an addict. Going to have this. Okay. Well, I'm about to tell you I'm not proud of this. All right. Growing up during the 80s, I played, well, look at half of the 80s I spent on the road, so I wasn't even in state. But during the times I played in top bands in Pittsburgh. All right. A lot of competition. And now here's the thing I'm not proud about. I was highly competitive. All right. If there was like somebody better than me, people or better than you or better than your band, people had a knack to talk crap on them rather than give them their due and say like, wow, you know, these guys are really good. They put in the work in the rehearsal to get like that. Because music is supposed to be a college. We're all members of that fraternity. But the people I hung around with, they were very competitive. And a lot of the keyboard players, you know, there was a battle. You know, who's a better keyboard player in that? And I played into that. You know, I used to think my shit didn't stink, you know, then I'd get burned by some guy I never even heard of before, and you see him up on the stage. Then you won't see me for a month. You know, hey Keith, we're having a party tonight. Nah, I got some. You know, I'd be home, woodshed. You know, I'd be practice scales and everything. Then I'd come out and, you know, burn that guy. You know what I mean? But that's not a cool way to live. You know, but naturally, I'm really not that way, but I'm a victim of the surroundings because the people I hung out with were like that. All right, but um, my attitude, that's been my attitude for probably for about, I don't know, the past 15 years now, is make your competition be yourself. If you could play what you think, you're a bad mofo. You know what I mean? Because, I think of a lot of stuff that I can't play. So what you do is you sit down and you start practicing, and, well, I really don't have the chromatic scale down now. I like to burn that scale, which I find a hard scale for me to do. I can do it, but it's not exactly super clean, and I like everything to be real clean. Um, but or any the mini scales or whatever Lydian, pentatonic, whatever. Um, you just sit down and work them out, But instead of worrying about what the other person is doing, make yourself your competitor. You know what I mean? If you could play what you think, you don't need competition. The mind can be very competitive. And that's the way I look at it now. And, a lot of my close friends are keyboard players. My buddy Danny's probably about 5, 6 years older than I am. And, when I was real young, Danny was one of the people I looked up to. He's another Mon Valley musician, and I always grew up like, wow, he's badass, and I've always had to respect, and I still do. He says I'm the better keyboard player, but by far, I think Danny is. I'm a better multi-keyboard player than he is, but Danny is a piano player. I'm a jazz B3 player. That's what I grew up being. But basically, this is me shooting my mouth off. But I tell you, man, nothing pisses me off than seeing lame keyboard players up on the stage. And I know when I go hear other bands and I see one guy standing up on keyboard, and I look around at the audience, and there's like nobody watching him. Then when I go out to play, I got people with their cameras up, and I got people watching me. They take the seats closest to the keyboard player, and I'm always doing all this stuff, left, right hand, and everything's planned. That's why I call the keyboard choreography. It's like dance steps. You play this, you need a part played, and hit it here. And, another complicated more part this hand can't do. So this hand now becomes then you play the lead part, then hurry up and switch and do the rest. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll see I'm Mr. Hands, man. Yes, yes. So that's my video today, keyboard choreography. Hope you guys dig it. Hope you don't take it the wrong way. But, there was a dark days where when I first started playing, everybody had that guitar mentality. Oh, you're a keyboard player. You go back to the back line. Well, I'm singing. I need to be up in the front line. And I'm also a lead player. And nobody that's playing lead in the back's going to get looked at. You need to be up there right in front. And also, and especially, I like to play off the guitar players. Me and another friend, Bobby Agiti, we are known for our keyboard guitar trade-offs. We kind of created that in our own little realm when we had the band The Enforcers, and we did a lot of that. And we even did things like there was a part that like Iran by Flock of Seagulls. There's a part at the end. Well, I started out doing that with Bobby started, then I came in on a third. And we also had another guitar player, and he came in on the fifth. So before you know that, we're doing that whole part. Then the drummer did this roll, and I went right into a killer Moog solo that wasn't even in there, and we put it in there. And I went right in, and it set the whole thing up beautiful. And then we came back out of it and finished the song. But I wish things were like that again, where you had the camaraderie between musicians and everybody played, and drop the competition attitude. Competition's good, but remember that, you're all part of the same fraternity. That's what I got to say. Okay, guys, I'm looking at the camera. I noticed that I'm like really running out of power here. So I ask that God may bless, and we'll catch y'all later. I hope what I said makes sense. Maybe some of you guys get the ideas and it's choreography and set your keyboard up right. I got other videos on how you set your keyboard up and do this stuff, so you can watch those too. So, bye-bye.